the sequence.
Thank you.
And
okay. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. Today is the info call session to explain in more detail the call that has already launched in EIT Urban Mobility, EIT Climate, and EIT Food under the umbrella of Cross-KIC New European Bauhaus. First of all, before going through the agenda and the presentation in itself, let me briefly explain you what is Cross-KIC. So for those who don't know, the EIT is a European Institute of Technology, is based in Budapest, its headquarters, and it has 8 institutes spread through Europe, focused in different topics. So there is EIT Climate, EIT Food, EIT Digital, EIT Urban Mobility, Manufacturing, Health, and Energy. And yeah, I think I've named them all of them. So EIT wants to break silos between innovation, academy, and business creation, but also they want their institutes to work together in those topics that they see as cross-sectoral. And so, for instance, we have this new European Bauhaus initiative that we work together with climate, food, digital, and urban mobility. So this call belongs to this project. So as such, if we go to the next slide. So this is the agenda. We've done the welcome and the check-in. So for those who have recently joined, please use the link in the chat to go to Mural and just add your name and where you're from in the map. So at the end of the session, we can have a graphic overview of where are you attending from. And then EIT Climate KIC is the project lead in this Cross-KIC activity, and Natalia Vera is with us and will explain the scope and the base of the project. Then myself, I'm Maria Marrogat, and I will explain the call in more detail. And then we have time for questions and answers. So Natalia, the floor is yours.
So again, thanks for joining us today in this info session. As Maria said, what I'm going to be doing is just to bring a brief introduction on what the Cross-KIC New European Bauhaus activity is doing, and how this call that we are addressing today falls in the scope of the broad activity of this Cross-KIC activity. So as you might all be aware, last January, the European Commission launched this New European Bauhaus as a strategy to help deliver the European Green Deal with a more human focus. So the NEB, the New European Bauhaus, is an environmental, social, and cultural initiative that combines 3 elements at a time. And this, I would say, it's the more interesting thing, that aside from sustainability, which is something that the European Commission has put emphasis in the last decades, now it brings together quality of experience, which means like aesthetics, and also inclusiveness, understanding not only accessibility, but also affordability. So the European Bauhaus is based in these 3 main elements. And currently the European Commission is under the design phase that aims at using a co-creation process to shape the concept by exploring ideas and identifying the most urgent needs and challenges to connect the interested parties. So there are also posts at the European Commission website where you will see that any actor and stakeholder is welcome to bring in these ideas for this co-creation process. So basically what we're doing with this Cross-KIC activity is to act as a testbed of this European Bauhaus strategy that will be implemented as from early this year and in the next years. So we are supporting their development And we're doing that together with Urban Mobility, EIT Urban Mobility, EIT Food, EIT Digital, and Climate-KIC is leading. I would say that the Cross-KIC activity ends up bridging the gap between science and technology on the one hand, and arts and culture on the other. And we do this under the scope of sustainability, business promotion, and citizen education and engagement. So we, the KICs participating in this activity, sat together and thought very thoroughly about what would be the challenges that our Cross-KIC activity should be addressing. So following the NEB strategy, we identified the following challenges that you see now in the screen. So these are three main topics: the green transition through architectural, cultural, and historic sites. The second one is towards circularity and urban resilience. And the third one is ensuring affordability and accessibility to all. You will see that each of the three challenges are divided in subtopics that we are also addressing one by one, but I will not go into this because Maria will recap later on these. So I would go now to the next slide. Well, to address all these objectives, previous one, please. Yeah, so to address all these objectives, we can go to the next one, Ilona, thank you. Sorry for the dance with the, here, with the slides. So to address all these challenges and objectives, we have structured our work in 3 work packages. So one is the acceleration of NEB startups. So basically here is where we're working with the business. So here what we're doing is that the participating KICs in this Cross-KIC are using their already existing platforms and ecosystems for the accelerators. And I think most of you are familiar with what the acceleration programs are, but if not, for non-partners, just a few lines. It's providing services to startups and scale-ups to ensure they will be successful in the market. So we help them to improve their capacities, and we guide them as to be successful in the market. So we're using those existing platforms of each KIC, and we are first developing some pilots to draw some lessons learned that can help us to design and implement an acceleration NEB call that hopefully will be issued in October this year, whereas the startups and scale-ups will be supported as from January next year. Then there's a second work package, which is the NEB education and ideation. Here again, we're using the already existing KICS ecosystems on education, and we have identified these initial challenges that I just mentioned in my previous slide. And we are going to be organizing hackathons, so please stay tuned to our news, because it will be very interesting that it would be interesting if you would participate in those hackathons that will be addressing these NEB challenges. There will be prizes and contents, and it will be very interesting to see ideas and solutions to NEB challenges. Also, we are going to be launching 2 online courses. I think this will be as from September. Also stay tuned, because it might be of your interest, and these online courses in principle will be for free. And then we're going to be creating a network of maker spaces, which basically it's like a sandbox where those ideas that we have identified and solutions will be implemented in the ground, so in real life, but under a safe place, so acting more or less like a sandbox. And the third work package, which is the one where these goal we are introducing to you today falls in, is the NEB engagement co-creation. So here again, using the communities of the KICs to create a specific NEB community with cities, citizens, professionals, entrepreneurs, and local associations. And what we want to do is, together with all these stakeholders, to identify NEB needs and ideas. So to that end, we are issuing 2 calls. The first one, capitalizing on citizen engagement tools for co-design and planning of public space, was released like around 1 month ago, if I'm not wrong, Maria. And it was EIT Urban Mobility, EIT Food, and Climate KIC also, the three of us issuing separate calls. So please check our websites because this call is still open, so it might fall under your interest also. And the second one, the one in blue in the slide, is the one we are addressing today. So call for proposals for citizen engagement. Maria will be explaining this one in a minute. And the last action we're going to be taking in this work packet is to create a decision platform. But I'm not going to take more on this, and I will just give the floor to Maria. This is a beautiful sentence to end up what the New European Bauhaus is: so beautiful, sustainable together. Maria, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Natalia. Please, the next slide. Okay, so the aim and content of this call is to work on activities where citizens and end users are involved, and they're asked to not only to identify relevant challenges in their city, but also to help them, to empower them to co-create potential solutions within an ideation process. This is following the citizen engagement approach of this Cross-KIC group that it's based in 3 pillars. Inform and exchange is about raising awareness within the different stakeholders. Inspire and aspire is about cultivating trust, sharing insights and respect for the citizens as within the role of their main experts in their context where they live. Engage and co-create, it's about involving citizens in the ideation and implementation process to look for a suitable approach to those challenges that they have identified. So the scope of the activities, I mean, everything that I say, it's in the call. Just be aware that I am summarizing it today, okay? So the objectives are, as I said, we need to create awareness within citizens that they do have a prominent role in improving the city that they live in. It should be sharing information in stimulating formats to increase interest, not to lose people within the process. Collect citizens' views and ideas by prioritizing the challenges. So we not only want them to identify further challenges within the areas, but also to tell which ones are the most important for them, and to start an initial ideation process to co-create some solutions with them. So requisites are to target more than one group, to, taking gender and social inclusion into account. So basically, we don't want activities to be carried out only within one group, because that wouldn't give us a holistic view on the matter. So address a specific problem within the activity. We want this to be concise. And okay, sorry, I have something that pops up here. And address a specific, yes, and have a clear communication plan and methodology. This is part of the application form that we're asking. Aim for a long sustainable impact and scalability too, and contribute to the 3 pillars that I just mentioned. Next. Well, just to mention that there are going to be 7 proposals awarded with 15,000 each proposal. And ideally, these 7 proposals will be 1 per each challenge that it is here explained. So within the cluster 1, green transition through architectural, cultural, and historic sites, we have natural building materials in energy efficiency, and that is led by Climate KIC. And then we have also naturalization of degraded public areas, including green areas, biodiversity, green and blue infrastructure that promotes active mobility and mitigates the heat island effect. They'll be kind of bringing nature within the city, and that's EIT Urban Mobility. take care of. And then we have also urban farming and regenerative agriculture that could also contribute to reduce emissions and foster the relationship between the farmer and the city. And that's obviously led by food. Towards circularity and urban resilience, we have enhancement of public realm, accessibility, interconnection through active mobility modalities to mitigate air pollution and improvement of physical and mental health. That's led by us as well, urban mobility. And then we have circular economy but applied to food waste and efficient reutilization of bioproducts, bio-waste, and that would be also contributing to reductions in emissions and second life of products. That is obviously led by food. In the third and last cluster is ensuring affordability and accessibility for all. We have energy communities that ensure the living and affordable prices through retrofitting, and that would be about shifting the focus from the building, focusing on the building rather than focusing now more into the communities that they live there. And then, and the last one, we have universal mobility as a key enabler for social inclusion. That would be led by EIT Urban Mobility. Okay, yes, I see, okay, some comments, but they are taken care. Next.
Sorry, my computer froze.
Oh, okay.
One moment, yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Ilona. So the outputs and deliverables, you have to take into account that, yes, as I said, 7 projects in 7 regions within EU member states or Horizon Europe associated countries will be awarded. And the activities would take place between 15 September and 25th of November. I have to stress the fact that it's 25th of November that the activities need to finish rather than end of December as they usually do, because we need those reports that we are asking here to receive them and to use them to put together a much bigger report of pipeline of ideas from citizens. So that is why it needs to be finished on the 25th of November. And the reports, or what we would like to see as an output, would be we need to see the report of methodology and engagement that they have been used, summarize of the identified and prioritized challenges, summarize of how was the ideation process and what was the co-created solutions that the citizens came up with. And finally, a kind of a conclusion, a closure report on recommendations for a replication or upscaling of those activities into other cities. Eligibility criteria, I'm aware that it has already been asked in the chat, but just to mention that any legal entity within EU member state or Horizon Europe associated countries are welcome to apply, and that includes KIC partners and non-partners. And then obviously we always welcome application from RIS countries, Regional Innovation Scheme. And I have to say that for these proposals, non-consortia are allowed. So we would like to see only one applicant, one legal entity who is coordinating those activities. Okay. Okay. And then here are the requirements, the application form. I have to say that usually we as KICs have an informatic system that proposals have to go through. In EIT Urban Mobility is Plaza, and then who wants to put a proposal has to log in, has to register, has to log in, has to put all the information there. But because this is a Cross-KIC call and is a mini call as well in terms of timeline and budget, so we only are asking you to fill in this application form and send it to us. Okay, so okay, no, wait a second. Sorry, Jonah, back to this one. So I'm just gonna. This is in the call, and you can download it there. So it's the same thing here, but I'm just gonna briefly say a couple of things to bear in mind when you fill this in. Okay, so background information is obviously you need to say which is the selected challenge that you would like to address, and how is this your proposed activities complying with the objectives and requisites. And then it is asked to describe the timeline, locality, budget, communication, and dissemination plan. Regarding the budget, here is a table with all the categories that we take into consideration. Personnel is clear. Subcontracting, you have to bear in mind that it cannot be higher than 10-15% max of the total amount of the budget. Travel and equipment, and then other goods and services. These are perishables like food or printed leaflets or any material you need to do workshops. And then you also need to take into account the direct, indirect costs, which are the 25% of the categories above minus subcontracting. And then the EIT funding is 15,000. So it is not asked the entity to co-fund anyhow, but if your proposal is higher than 15,000, then we would need to see the difference as co-funding. But if you make a proposal and it's sharp 15,000 EIT and your proposal is awarded, EIT is going to fund 15,000. So a defined target groups that will be involved in the activity is like which target groups are you planning to involve in this activity? Why have you chosen these target groups? How do you plan to get a more holistic view on that matter? And so on. And then, okay, so expected impact of the project, describe the planned activities to identify and prioritize challenges and co-creation of potential solutions. And here it's really important because when you see the evaluation criteria, this is 40% of the weight, and it's about you need to explain how the proposal is relevant to address the selected challenges, how the proposal is generating awareness of the role of the citizens in improving the city. Does it contribute to citizen engagement approach, the 3 pillars that I just explained, and does it have the potential to be scaled? Okay, if I may, I just finish and then we go through the questions that I see in the chat, okay? And then innovative aspects of here, we'd like to see what is the methodology you are planning to use, how do you engage with different target groups in a creative way, and yeah, how specifically which one are you gonna use to identify not only to identify challenges but to co-create solutions together. Expertise and previous experience. So here we would like to see that this organization that is applying has had relevant experience before and has a good knowledge of the local ecosystem. So that is because it's a very short timeline. So we need to have people really ready to deploy those activities because you are going to be awarded and communicated that you are awarded at the end of August, the 31st, and then that needs to start the 15th of September. So you need to be pretty much ready on the field. The application obviously should be signed and dated. And then, as you know, each challenges, each of the challenges are led by one KIC. So depend on the challenges that you apply, you need to send it to the relevant KIC. If you're interested in proposing, in making proposals for more than one challenge, then you may, let's say you have interest to propose, to make 3 proposals, then you have to fill in 3 application forms and send it to the relevant KIC. Yeah, that's fine, Ilona. The next one is okay. Here is the evaluation criteria. This is also in the call. And again, this is exactly the same questions that the evaluators will have in front of them to assess and punctuate your proposal. So please, once you have filled in the application form, go through the evaluation and think about if your proposal is achieving all those questions. Even better if you can give your proposal and the evaluation criteria to someone of your organization, someone who hasn't never read it before, and can follow these evaluation criteria, see if they find information there. So I think, okay, I think that's it. Just to go quickly through the calendar. So the call is closing on the 20th of August. Midnight, and please don't leave it to the last minute, because it tends to happen that we receive applications 2 minutes past midnight and they are rejected. So I don't know, aim for 10 p.m. and then you will always be on time. Eligibility and admissibility check 23rd and 24th of August. So we have 2 days, the KICs, to check that the applications are formed by organizations within EU member states or associated countries, and that it's not a consortia, it's only one organization that presents the proposal. And then we will have the evaluation between the 25th and 30th, and we will communicate the results to all the participants 31st of August. Then we'll have conditions clearing. That means, well, the legal teams between both sides, the KIC and the entities, will do the paperwork, and we expect the contract to be signed around the 10th of September. So the project could start 10th, 15th, the latest of September. And as I said, it needs to be finished by 25th of November. So we need to receive your deliverables by 25th of November. I think that's it. Yes. So now we can go through the chat and see the questions that we have so far, if you want. Okay, let me see the chat. Okay. Yes, I think. Yeah,
yes, feel free to raise your hand or unmute. Yeah,
I'm reading it. No worries. Thank you. Yes, the call is open to organizations that are not a partner from any of the KICs, as I said, as long as you are an entity within an EU member state or associated countries, you can apply. That was already answered. Yeah, the risk countries. Yes, we have a list in the call document. It is mentioned risk countries, and there is a link. You click on the word risk countries, there is a link there that you can see a website where all the risk countries are mentioned. And anyway, in the KIC's website, they're also there. Okay, can the same entity apply to different challenges, submit more than one proposal? Absolutely, you can apply to as many as possible, but just make clear that each proposal is focused, is targeted to one challenge. So it's not a mix of 3, it's 1 per each. So we want to receive 3 proposals and 3 application forms. Regarding co-funding, is it acceptable to include in-kind services as source of co-funding? Well, as I said, the co-funding, it's not required. It's not compulsory. You can provide a budget which is without co-funding, and you're not going to be penalized. As long as 15 is the maximum 15,000 and EIT is going to fund 15,000. If you want to add any extra co-funding, then yeah, it could be accepted, but then it's on you, obviously. Do you require formal support letters from the cities involved? Well, for us, that would be when we ask you on the experience that you have on the last question on the application form, previous experience and knowledge of the ecosystem. If you had already worked there and you can show us projects that you have already collaborated with that city, and then you may want to add then a reference letter, you can also attach it. I mean, it will be positively assessed. It's not us, but of course, the more support you can show, you can provide, the better. Regarding eligibility, applicants are for-profit consulting firms eligible to apply for this round? Yes, you are. As I said, you only have to be an entity, a legal entity. We are not saying whether you have to be private, public, NGO, just registered. So yes, you can apply. Will this presentation be shared? Well, yes, if you want to, just write to us and we will share it. We will post the presentation in the Urban Mobility website together with the recording. Yes, we can also post it in our websites. It's not eligible. Okay, for the moment, the ideas, the challenges that we have are the ones that we have. Of course, we can have more. And there was a debate on inclusiveness and food to have it. And it didn't make the cut this year, but it is on the pipeline for future activities to do so. And for the moment, the ones related to food are the ones that I presented today at the moment. And thank you. Thanks so much to all the questions. And I don't know if any of you have any other questions that would wish to ask in person, since we are only 30 people. Maybe you'd like to, I don't know, ask in person or by the chat. Yeah, there is a minimum number of citizens to be involved. No, but we do ask you to define the target groups and how many of them will be, because maybe you have two big target groups, or maybe for the type of activities that you plan to do, it would suit better to have a smaller groups, but several smaller groups. So we leave it open to you to define what is the best format for your planned activities. But what we ask you is to explain it to us. What have you chosen? How you have chosen to be organized, and why? Why do you think this is the best format to carry out those activities? Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I've gone through. You're welcome. I think I've gone through the chat questions, but yes, as I've said, if any of you may wish to have any further questions, feel free. Otherwise, I was thinking, Ilona, maybe you can share the map so we see who is in the room today, where are they based? Okay. I see. Well, for those of you who haven't done the check-in exercise, if you wish to, you can go to the link that it was posted at the beginning of the meeting, and you can grab one of those post-its that say "grab me" and write the name and place it in your country. It's just to have a visual overview. As I said, 7 proposals will be awarded to be in seven different localities spread through Europe. So that's why we think it was a good idea to see if we have people listening from different countries.
Sorry, I would like to ask a question.
Sure.
Do you expect the proposals to be aligned with some specific European policies apart from the new European Bauhaus, or that have to be stated in the proposal?
Well, what we are asking, we believe it is already aligned with the new European Bauhaus, because new European Bauhaus wishes to bring the citizens in the center to create a better living cities, a more sustainable and more inclusive cities. So from one hand, we have defined the challenges around this philosophy of the new European Bauhaus. So if you apply to those challenges, if you make your proposals around those challenges, you are already aligned with the new European Bauhaus policies.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know, Natalia, if you want to say anything else, or otherwise we may kind of wrap up and close it here.
Yeah, well, this is the moment for questions. Maybe our presentation was very clear, or probably the guidelines are very well written, and therefore there are no more questions. So I would just give a couple of minutes more.
Okay.
And if no
Crystal
more
clear.
questions, we can conclude the meeting, and we are saving 15 minutes from your schedule and giving you back that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is Gushan. May I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay, I'm joining from Izmir City. I would like to ask a question that is in the call is writing that 7 area or city and 7 citizen.
And
Is
7,
it correct? 7 citizenship application. Is it correct? I would like to ask, what does that mean?
Sorry, I'm not sure if I understood you. 7 areas, cities.
It is in the expected output. It's saying that 7 area or 7 city in 7 area and 7 city and 7 citizen. How can I say that? Citizenship requirement in the call. They're looking for those one. So I would like to ask that, what does that mean? And there's 7 criteria. Yes, true. 7 methodologies that we are looking for to write the project, to the call. But it said that 7 area, 7 city. What does that mean?
Sorry, I'm not sure where.
Sure. Wait, I'll find and send you. Wait a second.
Yes.
I think I can address that.
Yeah.
Essentially, what we each challenge, we try to find a different location and locality. So it's not really along the lines of necessarily being a citizen of that particular city, but being active there and having a legal entity there. Also being really familiar, closely familiar with the context, due to the fact that these initiatives have to be embedded there and the timeline is very tight. So we really are relying on existing activities and the knowledge, building on the knowledge that has been accumulated over time. So this is the local aspect that we are emphasizing. And then we also try to have this geographical spread. So as, say, one city doesn't necessarily get the topical proposals awarded. So as we have a better portfolio.
So it means that I can join with another city together and we can do the project. Is it okay? Like, is correct?
So another city where you are.
I'm in Izmir
Like
is Turkey.
The lead partner, yeah, the lead partner has to have the legal entity, and subcontracting allows for additional.
All right, thank you.
So
thank
basically, you don't need to form a consortia with the city. We're not asking you to present yourself with the city together. We just ask you to where are you based, where do you plan to do these activities, and as Ilona said, how well you're linked to that place. Have you worked there before in that city? Is the city happy to to promote those activities and so on?
all right, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
I also have a question on the rule of no consortia, because you can subcontract for 10 to 15%.
Yes.
So consortia really means that there's one lead partner, but for 10 to 15% you can subcontract and kind of form a consortium.
Well, no, I mean, consortia is where two partners form a consortia for applying for this proposal together. They sign it together, and then they apply for a certain amount of money. And when they form a consortia, there is no limit on how much is getting who. Both of them are kind of in the partnership, and they will both be getting funded by the EIT. And subcontracting is that there is only one, in this case, there is no consortia, so there is only one partner. And then that partner may decide to subcontract 10, 15% to another entity, but that entity is paid by the partner. It's, it's not paid by the EIT.
Okay, thanks.
I have a question too. Is there any problem if this project is part of a larger project that involves also other partners?
What do you mean? Well, what do you mean that it's involves other partners?
I mean, okay, it's fine. In our case, we have for the last 3 years, we're doing a project with together with the citizens. We're trying to co-create some parts of the city, and but this year we want to try something completely different, and this is what is going to be our proposal actually. But even if we do it eventually, in parallel, there will be also other activities.
That's good, as long as you're not applying for double funding for the same activity. Then if it's part of a bigger program, it could be even playing for you, because
but
it could
in
be
those
retrofitting.
activities may other stakeholders, or I don't know, companies may be involved if this is any problem.
Well, what I would say is that the activity that you propose to us is, as we mentioned, with this rules on the budget and so on. Then, if in parallel you have other activities aligned with this one with other partners, then it's a separate thing. As long as the proposal you're making to us, it follows our rules.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. We don't, I think, Ilona and Natalia, correct me, but we don't have a maximum of percentage of personnel in the budget. I don't think we have. Here is a question, if there is a maximum percentage of personnel. But of course, I mean, it has to make sense. I don't think 100% can be personnel, because you still have to organize activities, and you will spend money on the organization of those, whether they are other goods and services or even online. But I mean, I'd expect that there'll be a high percentage of personnel, higher than all the rest. But even if it is a little, you may need other categories too.
There's not a limit included in the guidelines, but the budget needs to look coherent with the activities you're describing. And that's something that the jury will be looking at, if it makes sense what you're proposing, the activities and how that budget is constructed. Yeah, I would say to keep a budget that can show, and this is European Commission wording, best value for money. Yeah, this is what we will be looking at. Last chance for last questions. Catherine, I guess your hand raised is a legacy hand, yeah? Catherine Verweke, your hand is raised, but I guess it's just a legacy hand because your question was the one in the chat box, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So.
Okay. Okay. All right. Then if there are no other questions, maybe Maria, Ilona, we could conclude the meeting now. Yeah, so then go ahead, you close.
Okay, well, thank you so much for attending here this info call session. I hope it has been useful to you. And if you have any further doubts when we're filling in the application, please reach out to us. We have our emails in the call document, and in this presentation there were too, but no worries, in the call document are all our emails, and we can answer you as soon as we can. So best luck, and yeah, thank you. Looking forward to reading your proposals. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.